about the impact of that bloody battle between the U.S. and Japan.
Plus, after a devastating fire last year, a popular East Greenwich seafood restaurant is working to welcome back its customers. A look at rebuilding efforts at Finn's Harborside.
And with the Pope now battling pneumonia, we check in with a professor at Providence College about what it might mean for the Catholic Church going forward.
ABC 6 News 11 at 11 starts right now.
Our top story tonight at 11. 80 years ago today, during World War II, the brutal Battle of Iwo Jima started between the U.S. and Japan. Thanks for joining us. I'm John DeLuca.
And I'm Tiffany Murphy. ABC 6 News reporter Ryan Medeiros spoke with a veteran today in Somerset about this anniversary's historical significance. He joins us live in the newsroom. Ryan.
John, Tiffany, most of us know the history of D-Day, when U.S. soldiers stormed the beaches of Normandy. But a veteran I spoke with says for a 5-week stretch in Iwo Jima, every day was D-Day. A statue stands tall and silent above the city of Fall River. There's no pomp and circumstance Wednesday on the 80th anniversary of the Battle of Iwo Jima.
It started on February 19th and then ended on March 26th.
We stopped by the local Marine Corps League detachment in Somerset to learn more about the battle and the sacrifices made.
They were doing things for people they didn't even know, and we're here today because of that.
John Carvalho served for 29 years in several military branches, including the Marine Corps and Air National Guard. He explains that Iwo Jima, a small volcanic island about 750 miles off the coast of Japan, was viewed as a valuable landmark during World War II.
When we were bombing Japan with the B-29s, when they were coming back, sometimes they wouldn't make it. They needed somewhere to land.
On February 19, 1945, thousands of U.S. Marines and Navy men descended upon the island in an attempt to seize it from Japan.
The island's about 11 square miles. Prudence Island's about 5.5 for Rhode Islanders, so double Prudence Island size. There was close to 7,000 men that were killed. They said it was about 1,000 men every mile.
After 5 weeks of combat, the United States emerged victorious, resulting in one of the most iconic images in U.S. history. But it came at a great cost.
Not only did the men sacrifice, but sometimes we forget that for every man that was out there, there's a family back home. If you read about it, it's almost you can't comprehend the amount of sacrifice that was made.
An iconic depiction of U.S. soldiers raising the American flag on Iwo Jima is now immortalized in Fall River. Carvalho says the moment came about when a mold of the statue built for Washington, D.C. was found in a basement in Newport.
And it's exact replica of the 1/5 scale model of the one down in Washington.
Carvalho's detachment is in charge of taking care of the monument, rain or shine. He says when factoring in the sacrifices made in Iwo Jima, looking after the statue is a no-brainer.
When you see a monument, that's people. It's not just stone and metal. Those are people. Those men that raised that flag, those are somebody's sons.
Carvalho says while many veterans who lived through the battle will soon be gone, the statue will serve as a reminder to the next generation of the sacrifices that were made. In the newsroom, I'm Ryan Medeiros, ABC 6 News.
Ryan, thank you so much. Let's get a check on the forecast now. Storm Tracker Chief Meteorologist Jeff Benson joining us now live in the Weather Center. Cold is the story for tonight, Jeff.
That's the story again, John. Seems like every day this week we've been talking about really just the cold, but there is good news in our extended forecast. I'll get to that in just a second. Right now, looking at numbers around 20 degrees. The one noticeable difference from the last couple of nights is the lack of wind out there. So important because that has just been so very, very harsh. And fortunately, looking at the overnight planner here, the wind's only about 5 miles per hour or so. That's enough for, say, a wind chill of about 5 to maybe even as much as 7 degrees as we head towards tomorrow morning. Bottoming out at 11 here in Providence, but a wind chill of 3 degrees. Yikes. Very, very harsh conditions persisting here as we go through the penultimate week of February. As we head towards the final week of the month, we have some warmer weather to tell you about. We'll slowly be working our way back towards seasonable over the weekend and even a little bit above that as we head in towards the middle of next week. And that brings us to March. Crazy to see 3-1 on the end of that graphic there. We are trucking right along. January seemed like it took forever. February, hey, it is the shortest month right after all. We do have clear skies for the most part right now. We're going to start to see some clouds working in overnight towards tomorrow morning. Nice little snowstorm for the mid-Atlantic parts of North Carolina. Having some fun with the snow tonight. We'll be back to talk about that. And if we could see any snow out of that as that storm moves nearby heading into your Thursday. We'll see you guys in a few minutes.
All right, Jeff, thank you. Happening right now, the world continues to watch and wait to hear how the Pope is doing as he battles pneumonia. The Vatican saying today the 88-year-old's condition is stationary.
ABC 6 News anchor Alyssa Azara went to Providence College to hear from a professor on what could be next for the Catholic Church.
Pope Francis showed slight improvement Wednesday. According to the Vatican, he's now doing small amounts of work after coming down with pneumonia in both lungs.
I do hope he gets better. If he doesn't recover, I'm not entirely sure what would happen. I guess they'd have to go through a new process, but I think that he's been a good pope. He's been trying to do the best he can.
The 88-year-old pontiff was admitted to the hospital Friday when his bronchitis worsened. His declining health has many Catholics worried and some wondering what's next. ABC 6 News speaking to James Keating, a professor at Providence College who knows a thing or two about this process.
Catholics pray that he gets better, but he's 88, so popes are mortal like everybody else, and we have to be prepared for what's going to happen.
Keating says there are three options. Pope Francis hopefully gets better and can continue to serve as pope, or if he dies, the process begins.
The Catholic Church has had long experience of what to do when a pope dies, and those procedures would kick into gear. We'd have a conclave, and we'd elect a new pope.
Or lastly, he could be considered incapacitated, which Keating says is complex.
He has said before that he didn't want to resign. He didn't want to have two popes resign in a row. So that would be a more complicated question. They do have procedures for an incapacitated pope, but determining what incapacitated means can be very difficult.
Since becoming pope in 2013, Keating says Francis focused on working with people and changed the church in significant ways, like making global warming and immigration a major focus of his.
Francis has been a controversial pope. These have been controversial times. And so the question will face the conclave is, do we want more Francis or do we want a different kind of direction? Because one of the things Francis has done is he has not followed the typical means by which someone becomes a cardinal. He has chosen people from all over the world, some people in relatively small dioceses, to bring in their own particular perspectives. So when Pope Francis dies, whenever that happens, we will face a conclave like we've never had before.
In Providence, Alyssa Azara, ABC 6 News.
New tonight on ABC 6 News, 11 at 11. After nearly a year, Finn's Harborside in East Greenwich is sharing their plans to reopen. The restaurant on Water Street forced to close down last March because of a fire, saying they've been working tirelessly to get up and running again. Now, despite countless efforts, the restaurant saying they still aren't able to commit to a very specific date for reopening, but they did say they thank their customers and staff for their constant support.
Now to some other local stories we're following for you on this Wednesday night. 2 senior citizens hospitalized after being hit by an SUV this afternoon in Johnston. According to Johnston police, an SUV hit a 68-year-old man and 66-year-old woman as they were crossing Plainfield Street around 3:30. Both needed to be hospitalized. The man is said to be seriously injured. Now, even though the investigation is still ongoing, at this point, police think sun glare may have played a role in that accident. Lakeville firefighters dealing with a house fire this afternoon. It happened at a home on Christian Brook Lane. According to the fire department, firefighters were able to keep it from doing major damage. The woman living there was able to make it out safely. The Red Cross is helping her with a place to stay for now.
The owner of Action Inc. says the woman accidentally hit the gas and drove into the building on Winthrop Street. No one was inside the shop at the time and no one was hurt. 2 windows are now boarded up after they were broken. Cox Communications announcing a local student is a finalist in a nationwide phone case design contest. Ryan G., a member of Pawtucket's Boys and Girls Club, was given $500 in tech products from Cox following his phone cases selection. He now joins 21 other finalists to compete for the grand prize. The winner will receive a $25,000 scholarship.
Now to an ABC 6 News update at 11. The Teamsters Union is now threatening to expand its picket against Stop and Shop. The two sides have been at odds over a contract talks at the Stop and Shop warehouse over in Freetown. Now, Stop and Shop wants the members to give up the health care plan they've been using for over 40 years. A Teamsters spokesperson saying if they don't reach an agreement soon, members will start picketing at all Stop and Shops in New England. Spokesperson for Stop and Shop saying if the Teamsters don't reach an agreement, they'll end up closing that Freetown facility.
Happening across New England, a priest in Hartford, Connecticut has been placed on administrative leave accused of stealing money from his parish. Father Charles Jacobs has admitted to stealing parish funds for personal use. That's according to the local archdiocese there. Police aren't involved in the investigation, we're told, and the Archdiocese of Hartford isn't getting into specifics. How much money was stolen is still unknown.
Now to our continuing coverage of Monday's plane crash in Canada. Delta Airlines is now offering $30,000 to passengers involved in that crash. Now a spokesperson for Delta saying this offer has no strings attached. If all 76 passengers take the offer, it would add up to just over $2.2 million. All 80 people on the aircraft did survive Monday's crash, but 18 were injured.
Entertainment news tonight at 11. Cynthia Erivo will host this year's Tony Awards. The Wicked star has a Tony of her own in 2016 for her role in The Color Purple. She's nominated for an Academy Award for her performance in Wicked. Erivo is an Oscar win away from achieving that coveted EGOT status. Nominations for the Tony Awards will be announced May 1st. Their ceremony will be held at Radio City Music Hall in New York and will be broadcast and streamed on June 8th. Here's our question of the day. Rhode Island recently passed a cigarette tax increase. Do you support this? Yes, the state needs the extra revenue. Or no, taxes are out of hand as it is. Scan the QR code right there to vote.
Still to come tonight on ABC 6 News at 11. PC on the road this evening, taking on old friend Ed Cooley in Georgetown. Ian will join us with a look at how they did, plus reaction from Coach English.
And Jeff is back with a look at our forecast and how soon we'll see those temperatures rise.
You're watching ABC 6, Southern New England's trusted news source.
ABC 6 weather with Jeff Benson. Brought to you by the Preserve Sporting Club and Resort.
The bus stop has not been fun today. We're getting the coldest temperatures of the entire day around this time. Look at that. Obviously, most of us are outside at 5 o'clock in the morning, but a lot of the kids getting out, around 7, 8 o'clock. Temperatures in the low double digits at this point. We're going to see sunshine and clouds. But those clouds increasing as we go throughout the day, and we do have some snow to tell you about, but it is not nearly a big snow by any stretch. Right now, though, that storm bringing some significant snow to the mid-Atlantic from the Delmarva Peninsula to the southern half of the Delmarva, all the way down through places like Norfolk, Virginia, getting into northern North Carolina, Elizabeth City, down towards, I saw some video online of the campus of NC State. They were having some fun. It's not that often that they get to enjoy all of this snow. But believe it or not, they have had close to as much snow, if not more, in some parts of the mid-Atlantic than we have had all season long here in the Northeast. A little bit of a topsy-turvy winter as far as the snowfall has been concerned. Look at all of these snow reports right now. Williamsburg over towards Richmond, Norfolk, again, down into the northern portions of North Carolina there, and even getting into places like D.C., although not that much. But you look at our snow, or lack thereof, so far this winter. Providence, we have a deficit of 10.5 inches. We should be, say, about 26. We should be 26 inches at this point, a little bit over 2 feet, but it has been yet another. I mean, it's better than the last couple of winters have been, but still not seeing our snowfall really the last several years where it should be. Worcester, a 17-inch snowfall deficit. Boston, coming up on 6 inches there. A little bit more, 14.6 over Windsor Locks, Connecticut. That is not likely to change anytime soon, and we are running out of time. If you want a big snow, yes, March can yield some nasty storms, not a guarantee, certainly not a guarantee, and it becomes a little bit tougher to overcome. You've got a stronger sun angle at this point. You do have generally warmer air, so things need to be perfect more so than they already have to be, and we had a really good setup this time around. It's just not transpiring as the snow lovers would have liked. This storm here blowing up out over the water here. We've got this northern energy coming in during the day tomorrow, and that's going to amplify some of that snow across our area. It's going to be mostly light snow showers. We do get a little bit of a burst for the Cape and the islands as that storm pulls away heading into tomorrow night. So this is what it looks like. Again, just about a dusting for most of our area. If you are traveling out towards the Cape, you may need to do a little scraping or dusting or, some kind of cleaning of the cars for sure. And our friends down in Nantucket, you guys are the lucky ones, 2 to 4 inches this time around. Going to be turning windy behind that storm as we head into Friday. So a breezy day across the board on Friday. And be feeling a little bit colder as a result. But the overall trend is a warmer one. We're at 37 on Saturday, 40 on Sunday, and even warmer than that as we head into next week. So again, very cold out there tonight. Please bundle up, everybody. Lows down close to 10 degrees here in Providence tomorrow morning. Bit of a wind chill. Increasing clouds. PM snow showers tomorrow. Temperatures will be right around the freezing mark. Winds north at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And again, there's one more check of that snow forecast. Friday, breezy, mostly sunny, a high of 35. A little colder with the wind. 37 Saturday. 40 Sunday. I love to see those temperatures back into the mid and upper 40s by the time we get to the middle of next week. Also, a pretty quiet 7-day forecast. Not a lot in the storm department. We just got, outside of tomorrow's snowflakes, a chance for some light rain on Tuesday.
Now, ABC 6 Sports, sponsored by Nature's Frontier Enterprises.
PC against Georgetown, Chapter 5, since Kim English took over for Ed Cooley here in Providence. This one different than the rest. First, some added emotion on the Hoyas side as Ed Cooley coaching with a heavy heart. His mom, Jane, passing away earlier this week, the former Friar coach, on the sideline days after the heartbreaking news. It was a player on his former team that had the hot hand early, kick out to Bensley Joseph, who knocks down the go-ahead three. He'd have 25 points on the night. Later on, it's Joseph again going to work, pulling up for another three-pointer. PC up as many as 5 early, but things quickly turning later in the first half. The Hoyas without stud freshman Thomas Sorber, so Micah Peavy picks up the slack to the tune of 30 points. Georgetown ends the first half on a 12-0 run, and they do not look back. Ed Cooley gets his first ever win against his hometown team, his 5th try since moving to Washington, D.C. An emotional win at that. Providence loses to Georgetown big, 93-72.
To see us come out and make flimsy ass plays at the rim when Tommy Sorber ain't out there is very disappointing. And it's ridiculous. You don't deserve to win. You don't deserve to be on the court. But, when you got guys out, you get to be on the court,